Hi everybody, I'm back. And today Gina Young is going to show you all how to make a mouth-watering, juicy, grilled ribeye steak. Yes, we're having ribeye steaks at the Young's house for lunchtime. I'm going to show you how quick and easy they are to make. The last few steaks I made for you all, I promised you all that the next ribeye that I made would be on the grill, and that's just what we're going to do. Hey, listen here. We're going to grill up some button mushrooms and onions to go right on top of that steak, and we're also going to grill up some nice squash. That'll be perfect for lunchtime. Here's what you'll need to make Gina Young style ribeye steaks on the grill. Okay, everybody, so I have some nice, thick, look at these bad boys. They're nice and thick ribeye steaks, and they have the nice marbling. When you purchase ribeye steaks, you want to make sure that they do have that beautiful marbling, because when you have that, you're going to have a nice juicy ribeye steak. Absolutely, you will. And any fat that's on your ribeye steak, don't worry about that, because if you cook it on the grill, most of that fat will render off, okay? So not to worry. First thing that we're going to use, let me show you the ingredients that we have. We have Montreal steak seasoning, onion powder, cracked black pepper, parsley flakes, and the parsley flakes is not going to give any flavor. It's just going to make it nice and beautiful. I have sea salt as well as A1 sauce, and right here I have cold press garlic crushed olive oil, okay? So this is the first thing that we're going to do. We're going to take and we want to rub this beautiful olive oil all over these steaks. What's going to happen when we rub this olive oil on the steaks is we're going to infuse our steaks with that beautiful garlic flavor. Absolutely. And we're also going to help for our spices to adhere to the steaks, as well as get a nice char onto these bad boys. So we're going to rub that oil on just like so onto both sides. All right? So then put some oil on this side as well. I hope that you all are having a beautiful day today. I hope that you all are having a great work week as well. Okay, let's get that on there. I'm going to wash my hands, because anytime you're dealing with raw meats, you want to wash your hands so that you don't spread the bacteria to your spices. Let me wash my hands and I'll be right back. So then we have our hands washed. Let's go ahead and start to season up our beautiful steaks that we have here. Now this recipe can be used for pork chops as well. This recipe can be used for lamb as well. Now there's one ingredient that I don't want to forget about. I have sazon, and those of you that are familiar with me, you know that I absolutely love sazon. Sazon's going to give you a nice, beautiful flavor as well as a really beautiful color. It's going to give you somewhat of an orangish color to your meat, okay? We're not going to use too much, but we are going to season both sides, okay? Just like this. All right, we're going to use some sea salt. Don't get crazy with the sea salt. You always want to be careful when you're using any type of salt. And if you have issues with salt, feel free to use a salt substitute. All right, we're going to use some dried parsley, just like so. And then we're going to use cracked black pepper, onion powder, and this Montreal steak seasoning is absolutely amazing. And just because it says steak doesn't mean you have to use it only on steak. You can use this Montreal steak seasoning on fish. You can use it on chicken, on pork, whatever you choose. It's absolutely amazing. Trust me when I tell you this. Ooh-wee, it's got some good spices in there. Don't be afraid to season your meats. You have to be able to taste the seasoning. You want your family and friends to taste the seasoning. You know, if you don't season up things, or if you're afraid to season your meat, it'll have no flavor, okay? Only seasoning you really have to worry about is the seasonings that have the sodium in it. Otherwise, just go ahead and season that meat up. All right, there's that. Now we're going to give this a turn. I'm going to grab a fork so I don't have to wash my hands again. We're just going to flip it over just like this. And we're going to season the other side same exact way. Now, we're going to chop up, well, we're going to slice up our squash, and I'll show you how I like to do that. Because when I'm doing squash or zucchini on the grill, you want to slice it into slices. Okay, and I'm just going to throw that right onto the grill. If you wanted to get a grilling mat, you can, or grilling pan. Or if you just wanted to take your squash, you can put it into that pan. That pan that I have right here, that's what we're going to cook our onions and our button mushrooms on. Absolutely. Because if you don't use a pan, your onions and your mushrooms will fall right through, right through the grid of the grill. And we don't want that. So you use a pan, and you can still achieve that charcoal flavor, because all of that smoke and that charcoal smell is going to go all throughout your vegetables as well, even if you use a pan. All right? So then let's put these spices on in this manner. Now, one thing about the meat, and I say it a lot, those of you that are familiar with my channel, make sure you do not take this meat out of the refrigerator, season it, and throw it right on that grill. Because what will happen is you'll have tough meat. You want to let your meat set on the counter for at least 12 minutes. It's okay if you sit it on your counter for 15 to 20 minutes. Let that chill come off so your meat doesn't have to go into shock when it goes onto the grill or when it goes in the oven or on your frying pan. Taking it right out of the refrigerator and cooking it is never good. It'll always turn out dry. Letting it sit and rest and marinate with the spices, let that chill come off, and you're going to have juicy meat. All right? Just like this, I'm putting onion powder, cracked black pepper once again, Montreal steak seasoning, and you'll see that I'm going to rub some A1 sauce on the steaks while we're grilling them, but that'll be towards the end of the cooking process. You never want to put it on too early, because what'll happen is the A1 sauce will burn. Okay, so that's why you just want to, you want to paint it on during the last moments of its cooking. Now, if you're the person that would like to do, and I do this a lot, if you want to put barbecue sauce on your meats, always put your barbecue sauce on last as well, because otherwise the barbecue sauce will drip down into your charcoal, and it'll make your charcoal cold, and also it'll burn as well. All right, so we're just going to set these aside. Let's get a good look at that. Nice and well seasoned. Beautiful. All right, now what I want to do, I do want to put a little bit of sea salt on this side as well. Just a little is all you need. A little bit will go a long way. Trust me when I tell you this. Beautiful, my goodness. And here's the thing, we're not going to have any carbs today. No carbs with lunchtime, because we don't need all that. We'll have carbs with dinner. We don't have to have it for breakfast and lunch. And that's how you can cut down on your weight, by watching the carbs. Okay, everybody, let's go ahead and slice up our squash. Okay, we're just going to chop the ends off just like so. And keep the yellow skin on. The yellow skin is amazing, okay? If you're that person that wants it off, then fine. But otherwise, keep it on there. It's absolutely amazing. Okay? Don't chop them too thin. Kind of medium like that is just fine. And these bad boys are going to cook up, and they're going to be amazing. We're going to season them with Montreal steak seasoning, a little bit of sea salt, and olive oil, okay? And that right there is going to be amazing flavor. All right? We're going to cut this just like so. And that part right there is just fine. All right, now watch this. Take you some olive oil, and I'm going to use regular olive oil. Okay, this right here is just regular olive oil, okay? It's not infused with anything. It's beautiful, okay? I'm gonna take my fingers and I'm just gonna rub that olive oil all over my beautiful squash, just like so. And this is gonna help to keep it nice and juicy, as well as help for the spices to adhere, okay? Let me dry my hands off, and then we're gonna put Montreal steak seasoning. Just like this, both sides, absolutely. You can do the same thing with eggplant. If you wanted to use zucchini, same thing. Yes, by all means. Okay, let's put a little bit of parsley on there because that's gonna make it nice and beautiful as well. Okay, just one side will be just fine. No issues there. And then I'm gonna use a tiny bit, just a little bit of sea salt, okay? If you don't want to use it, don't use it. Okay? There we go. This part is done. Let's head out to our grill. We're going to start to put our steaks on the grill. But what I also want to do, I'm going to chop up these onions. You all know how to slice onions. And I'm going to leave these, I've washed the button mushrooms, okay? I'm going to leave the button mushrooms whole, okay? But what I will do is put some olive oil in our pan, just enough to cook the onions and the mushrooms, okay? And we'll chop up this and meet me outside on that grill. Okay, everybody, we are outside. It's a beautiful day, guys. Like, look at the sky. It's amazing out here today. And I'm so excited to be out here. All right, we have our grill. My husband set my charcoal all up. Let's go ahead and get started with all of our cooking. If you all aren't outside today, get outside. It's a beautiful day. My goodness. All right, let's go ahead and put our steaks on. Oh, hear that sizzle? That's what you're wanting to hear. Beautiful. And I'm putting them all on one side because we are going to be doing mushrooms and we're going to do our squash as well. Okay? Remember, we oiled our squash with the olive oil. You want to make sure that you oil your vegetables before you put them on. Beautiful. See that? That's what you're wanting. Just like so. Okay, everybody, I went inside for a second so I could wash my 2 cutting boards and put them in a disinfectant solution that I like to use. See, look at this. Beautiful. And here's the thing about grilling. It doesn't take any time. Everything's cooking up just beautifully. If you get a little bit of flame, just take a spray bottle and spray your whatever you're cooking. Spray it down with a little bit of, you can use vinegar and water, you can use 7-Up, or you could just use regular water and just spray it down to die the flame down if your flame gets too crazy. That's what I do. Sometimes I'll use apple juice, especially if I'm making ribs. Always keep a spray bottle of apple juice and honey. Ooh, look at them bad boys. Beautiful. That's what we're wanting. And this squash right here, the squash doesn't have to take long. You don't have to cook it long. This piece of squash right here was cut a little too thin, so quite naturally it's going to tear apart, and that's fine. Turn them steaks over. Starting to see that beautiful char underneath. Look at them bad boys. That's what you're wanting. You all never had this before. You better make you some. Ooh-wee, you better make you some. Oh, look at this. My goodness. Ooh-wee. And the squash is just about done. I'm going to take them off here in just a second. And then we'll put our mushrooms and our onions on. This right here is going to be some good eating for lunchtime at the Young's house. Boy, oh boy. All right, I'm going to take some of our squash off. Everybody, I'm going to show you some of our beautiful squash. Look at this, cooked just to perfection. And it's never should be mushy. You only have to cook it just a little bit on both sides. Once you start to see that char on both sides, you got perfect squash. Flame broiled ribeye steaks. Get in my belly. I am so excited. My goodness. Okay, I'm going to go and get our mushrooms and onions, and I'll be right back. Okay, everybody, all of the squash is done. I've moved our steaks over to a part of the side of the grill that's not so hot. I had a lot of flare-ups on this side, so we moved the steaks over because we know they're not done yet. Okay, mushrooms and onions, they have olive oil in the pan. I put Montreal steak seasoning. I put a little bit of garlic powder and just a tiny bit of sea salt and parsley in there. And we're just going to cook them. And really, it's that simple. Let me give you all a good view of these steaks here. Look at that. My goodness. This is real cooking here. Listen. And here's the thing. It's not hard. You all can do the same thing and it's going to turn out the exact same way. Absolutely. Make this for your family and friends and loved ones. I'm going to chop up some of these mushrooms just so they can cook a little faster. I don't know about you all, but I'm a fan of mushrooms. If you don't like mushrooms, then you don't have to, you can skip this part. But these bad boys, they are smelling good right now. Look at that steak. Look at that good loving. Look at that good loving. You all never had any good loving before. This right here is where you're going to find it, baby. Ooh-wee. If you wanted to, put you some green bell peppers in here with this. Absolutely. And towards the end of the cooking process, like I said, I'll smear a little bit of A1 sauce on. If you wanted to do barbecue sauce, you do it towards the end as well. I'm going to lower my charcoals a little bit. Let me show you how I'm doing that. You see this? This makes them high or lower. I'm just going to lower them just a little bit. Okay? And that's how we can control the temperature of the grill. The temperature that our steaks cook at. And them bad boys looking good. My goodness, girl, you are something else in that kitchen. And then what I like to do with our steaks is I like to bring them in. I like to let them sit on the counter for a while. And then I slice them. And everybody can just have as many slices as they'd like to have. These are achieving that beautiful golden brown color that we all love, and they're starting to take on some of the smell and the fumes and the taste of that charcoal. Absolutely. And by putting that seasoning on these mushrooms and onions, you're gonna bump them up even more. You better make you some. Ooh, you better make you some. So later on today, those of you that are familiar with my channel, get ready because I'm going to be doing the bathroom challenge today. Stay tuned because the bathroom challenge is on its way. Look at that. My goodness. That's some good cooking. You hear me? I'm going to take my camera in for a few minutes, bring the camera out of the sun, and then I'll come back out. Okay, everybody, I had to come in for a few minutes and cool down. It's so hot outside. I have a freeze pop. This is going to do the trick. I'm going to get nice and cool down. My camera's going to get a chance to cool down for a second. By the time we go out there, our steaks are going to be just about done. And our veggies are almost done as well. Okay, everyone, so I'm back. And lo and behold, I come back outside. I wasn't in the house but 3 minutes. I come back out and there's a nice cloud. So it doesn't feel as hot. Or maybe was it the popsicle that cooled me down? But I feel much better, I tell you that. Look at these bad boys. Beautiful. See that? Girl. Hoo-wee. Now, you can always feel the texture of your steaks to know if they're rare, medium, or well done. So rare, if you feel here and you have your hand loose, that's rare. If you close your hand a little bit tighter, that's medium rare. If you close it tighter, that's medium well. Okay, and close it real tight and you press right there and that's well. Really, it might sound silly, but that really works, and guess what? It's true. Give it a try and let me know what you think next time you make a steak. You can fill them and you will know exactly how your steaks are cooked. I'm going to raise the charcoals up for the last 5 minutes of the cooking process. I'm happy with the color of the mushrooms and onions. Let's go ahead and paint some A1 sauce, and I only do one side, okay, because we don't want too much A1 sauce. Let's paint some on this side, and our steaks are just about done. See that there? If you wanted to, you put you some of this in here. Just a little is all you need, because you don't want to change the flavor of the mushrooms and onions. All right, so I have my little basting brush. Baste that on there just like so. Dinner at the Young's house or lunch at the Young's house couldn't get any better. A meal fit for a king or queen. All right, let's stir this around just like so. I'm going to take the camera in and we're going to be ready to dive in. We'll say our prayer inside. All of my neighbors are looking at me like I'm crazy, like I'm out here talking to myself. But that's okay. I'm talking to 300,000 people here, right? All right. Beautiful. Steaks are just about done. I'm going to give them a flip over on the side where the A1 sauce is. We're going to go inside, say a prayer, and cut these bad boys up. Tell me this isn't how you like your steak. Make it for your loved one. Make it for your grandma. Make it for your mom and your dad. Absolutely. Ooh, them bad boys looking good right now. Now remember, we're not going to cut it down into our steaks until we let our steaks rest for around about 10 minutes. What a beautiful day outside. Beautiful. My goodness. We'll come out here tonight and sit at the patio furniture and we'll make a bonfire. And we're going to enjoy our night tonight. Absolutely. Let's head inside. Okay, everybody, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and take this steak off. The smallest steak, because this one here is done to perfection. I feel like the other ones need to cook a little bit longer, so we're going to leave them on a little longer. My husband likes a well-done steak. Me personally, I could have took mine off the grill in 7 minutes. But that's the thing about grilling. Everyone likes theirs different, and you can cook yours, you know, however they like theirs. That A1 sauce on here really makes a difference. It looks amazing, right? It is amazing. This one here, done to perfection. Perfect. Let's go ahead and say our prayer over this beautiful food. Lord, we thank you for this food today. We thank you for your love, time, your mercy, and your understanding. I thank you for feeding me and my family a meal today, the roof over our head, and loving us once again. Amen. Let's dig in. Okay, everybody, it's time to cut our steaks. So you take them. Look at that beautifulness to perfection. You just put them right here. We're going to slice down into them. And make sure you give them time to rest. They have to rest. If they don't rest, all of your juices are going to come out. Look at that. Look at this. Beautiful. I'm going to show you how I like to slice my steaks. I'm going to cut the others off camera and then we'll make our plate. Okay, so here's what I like to do. Oh, yeah. And I feel like when you slice it, you get more for your money. You know? You get more. Look at this. Beautiful. Look at that. Juicy. Perfect. Give this a try and let me know what you all think about this. My word. Look at that juiciness. Oh. That will do the trick. My goodness. Perfect. My goodness. I didn't even get to make my plate. I'm just going to dive right on in. Mushrooms and onions. So flavorful. Our beautiful squash. Squash couldn't look any better than this. It's so healthy and yet it's so flavorful. Look at that. I am so pleased. I'm going to grab my family so we all can sit down and enjoy our lunch. If y'all enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you click on that notification bell so you can be notified every time Gina Young uploads one of these awesome videos. And as always, God bless you all. Thank you all for watching. Good night.